Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to this Superliminal Games YouTube video. That's right, it's Dan, back again. And what am I here to do this time? I am here to run us through a little MTG arena. Because that's just how I'm feeling this week. It's here for a little arena. Gonna take a look at this Sultai control deck that I've been playing on the best of one ladder for a little while now. I really love this deck. I think it's hilarious that I'm winning with an 80 card deck. I love getting to cast Emergent Ultimatum. I think that all of the ultimatums from Ikoria are really cool, and Emergent Ultimatum is my second favorite one behind Genesis Ultimatum, which is that the name of the card? Yeah, whatever, the Teamer one, which is absolutely bonkers busted, but so is this one. They're both really good, and getting to do things like cast Valky, or, well, Tibalt, Planeswalker side, Kiora, Best the Sea God, Alrund's Epiphany. There's just a lot of cool stuff you can do, and I've definitely had opponents concede to me resolving Emergent Ultimatum, so I dig that a lot. Because we're playing best of one, I have a sideboard here, but it is neither complete nor something that I interact with on a regular basis, so sorry if you were looking for that. Going to go ahead and get right in on the ladder and jam a couple games with this, so let's go ahead and see how we do. I have a better than 60% win record with this deck at this point through Gold and Platinum last season and the beginning of this season so far. Nearly reached Diamond last season, and had I had probably a couple more days to play at the end of the month, I think I would have reached Diamond, so that's neat for me because I don't often come that close. Alright, so we've got a mulligan here because though we are on the play, well, maybe, hang on, we've got blue mana, we got blue and green mana, we've got a Jwari Disruption, opponents on Lurrus. I'd like to be able to start exiling things, but we can also kill the Lurrus eventually, so I'm going to assume with the opponent being on Lurrus that they're probably on Rogues, which is annoying, but with 80 cards, so I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot, because we have the Shark Typhoon to draw if we need to, and just hope we can get to black mana so we can use the Heartless Act and the Eliminate. I'm going to go ahead and play Seagate Restoration tapped. I think the amount of times I've cast that card in this deck total is probably 3, and I've been playing this deck since last month, so we'll see what comes out of that. Okay, Island, Merfolk Windrobber, so we were right. Opponent is playing Rogues. Fortunately, and there's the black mana. Fortunately, opponent did not get to lead on the, well, opponent not leading on black mana is just really strong here, so I'm going to go ahead and leave up Jwari Disruption here, because I'm not necessarily worried about the mill 1. I'm much more worried about what they can do with black mana. So, fingers crossed that the blue is not where they're going. Nope, there's the swamp. So, they're probably going to go ahead and nug us for 1, and we'll mill 1. That's fine. Sure. It's a black land, which is a little annoying, but we'll be fine. We'll get there. And then I'm kind of content with playing the reactive game right now because we have the Disruption and the 2 removal spells. So I'm just content with playing Draw Go for the moment because what they do is a little bit more concerning than what we do. If they want to go and flash in here, I'm kind of fine with that. Yeah, we will go ahead and counter. No, we will go ahead and let the Soaring Thought Thief hit, and then we will eliminate it. There we go. That deals with the extra mill and potential damage. We have the counter for when they go for, if they go for Lurrus eventually. And again, I'm content to just sit back because we are a big mana deck. We have more than enough cards for them to mill and not have that be a big problem. You know, milling a removal spell does kind of hurt, but I'll take it. I'm going to go ahead and play the Spark Channel Pathway again. And I'm still content with letting them have the turn here. They want to try to flash in something again. We have a Heartless Act to kill it. And I'm fine with that. They got something. Notably, also, we're pretty close with 5 mana here, 2 more represented by Cultivate. We're pretty close to having access to the Ultimatum if we draw it, which feels kind of nice. We do have to watch out for... Alright, there's a Thieves Guild Enforcer. That's fine. Let's see if they try to cast something else here. We'll take the mill. Jeez. Milling 2 removal spells is... That hurts. That hurts a lot. We only have the 8 single target removal spells. Again, I'll let him hit us for 2. I'll let him mill us 1. I have no problem with that. Even if it is a black mana source, it's not a removal spell, which is better. Kind of want them to take the turn to bring Lurrus into their hand here, and playing a tap land into nothing. I'm going to go ahead and cycle the Shark Typhoon and make a 2/2. Because it gives us a blocker. We still have a removal spell if they want to flash something in here, that's fine. Alright, we drew another Heartless Act, that's nice. So now we've still got more removal on tap. Okay, going to go and Cultivate here. And get a... green mana source, obviously. Okay, Drown in the Lock. Alright, well. Gonna go ahead and... I still think that's fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the Zagoth Trio. It still sets us up pretty well. We've got 6 mana. We've got 2 Heartless Act and a Jwari Disruption. Granted, we can't cast the Jwari Disruption, but... Opponent also relatively low on cards. We've got plenty of library. I'm not worried about milling out. If they attack with the Thieves Guild Enforcer, I'm just blocking with this big old Tornado Shark. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Heartless Act. You got it, opponent. Another Wind Robber. You got it, opponent. I think we've missed our window for the Jwari Disruption at this point. I don't see them tapping out anytime soon. Damn. Milling the Shadow's Verdict hurts there, but all of those are 1-drops, so we're going to go ahead and play this land and exile Odd here. Because now they can't even get it back with Lurrus, so that feels nice. Notably, if they have an untapped mana source here, they can get Lurrus into their hand and cast it, but we have a Heartless Act, so... Actually, we have the Jwari Disruption as well. Maybe better that we still have that. Because it looks like, yep. Oh, that feels good. I changed my mind about the time being passed on the Jwari Disruption. That was solid. Just going to go ahead and bring Yorion into our hand. And yep, our opponent going to gain life, but we got all the time in the world. So, unfortunately, we have to foretell this Alrund's Epiphany, because we can't cast it. I am going to go ahead and cast this Binding of the Old Gods now, because we can flicker it with Yorion next turn, or we can just cast Alrund's Epiphany if we want to. Again, we've got the answers. Alright, so they've got a Thieves Guild Enforcer. That's fine. We've still got 2 Heartless Acts in hand. And they're drawing cards off the top of their library like that. So that is completely fine for me. Sure. I mean, we're going to take 4 here, but then we're going to kill both of those, so... Go ahead and get a Zagoth Triome. Yeah, I'm just killing both of these. Take our opponent down to no cards in hand. And we can cycle a Migration Path at the end of their turn. That's fine. We didn't get to blink the Binding of the Old Gods, but I don't really care. So now we'll draw a card. They've got something with Flash or a counterspell or something here, so we're not out of the woods yet, but we're closer to out of the woods than we have been in a while. Gonna go ahead and get a land here. Gonna go ahead and get a swamp. And we're gonna try to cast Alrund's Epiphany. See if... Okay, it was a Soaring Thought Thief, that's fine. Resolves. Just gonna go ahead and cast this Yorion. Not gonna blink anything. Not gonna attack, and we're gonna pass turn. So we just need one piece of action. We need the last Shark Typhoon that's left in the deck. We need the Vorinclex. We need the other Alrund's Epiphany, Kiora Best Sea God. Those are all still in there. We've got a Seagate Restoration still in the deck. We've got a lot of action that's left. And we'll go ahead and negate that Lull Mages. So we get to keep our Yorion. We aren't not flooding out, though. So, no attacks. I'd like to see Beliged Recovery come out at this point. We can't notably cast Tibalt at this point because I believe they milled our red producing... Yeah, there's our Ketria Triome. So in order to get Tibalt out... Alright, so that's pretty good. Now we can attack for 6. Got him on a 3-turn clock from here. And we still have plenty of cards in our library. So go ahead and thin out another forest. And end the turn. Flash in this Omen and the Sea at end of turn. See what they do. Okay. Gonna get hit by a Didn't Say, please. Ah. There we go. Kiora Best to Sea God will wrap it up. Put him down to 3 and try to find a way to answer that. I mean, Wind Robber is a spell, but... Got 2 lethal creatures. They'll kill 1. That's fine. And there we go. Alright. Alright, so that's sort of the textbook case there. We were under a lot of pressure, but we managed to come out from under it, and we managed to come around and just outlast our opponent and get into a position where they ran out of gas and things to do, and we didn't. And that's what we want to be doing with this very value-heavy deck. Go ahead and put on my blue light blocking glasses, because mine is starting to hurt. So let's see if we can run that kind of behavior back. Alright, we're going first. We have all 3 colors of mana. We have counterspell, card selection, and destruction and ramp. Looks good to me. So I'm going to play this Jawari Ruins first. Another Laris. Another island. Another Merfolk Wind Robber. So more of the same from last game here. Going to go ahead and play the Zagoth Triome on 2. I would have preferred to have been able to leave those up, but I want to be able to cast this Binding the Old Gods on turn 4. So, alright, there's a Ruin Crab and a fetch land. So Ruin Crab has to die. Fortunately, we have the Heartless Act, and they're going to have tapped mana. So I'll take milling for 7. Oh no, Vorinclex. Well, that's annoying, but we'll mill for 7. We'll just go ahead and Heartless Act that crab on out of here. I will say the nice thing about playing this deck is I don't feel as worried about the mill decks. I mean, yeah, 3 cards is still a lot, but I started with 80, so... Yep, and next turn we'll bind the Old Gods and destroy that Soaring Thought Thief. Boy, they're hitting some good rips on our mills. Damn, the Ketria Triome again. Get out of here, Soaring Thought Thief. And now we have Heartless Act on tap still. We've got an Omen of the Sea we can pop in next turn. You know, we're still milling, which is annoying, and they are hitting... Well, they're not hitting great, but they're hitting. Okay, Zagoth Triumph. Play an island. Gonna bring Yorion into hand and then pass. Cause, yeah. If I don't have to kill something with a Heartless Act, I will Omen of the Sea at end of turn and then blink it with Yorion. It's unfortunate to not be able to blink the Binding, but it's fine. Okay, not that mad about the milling lands at this point because we have 7 and we have all the colors that we need to cast an Emergent Ultimatum when we get there. Oh, this is going to be good. That says to me they have a counterspell on tap, that they paid 3 life for that, but we'll try the Omen anyway. Bottom lands. Boy, we had 5 land at the top of the library. Alright, Valky. Again, we lost our ability to have the red source, so that's frustrating. Gonna play Yorion. Going to assume they have a counterspell. We are going to counter their counter because I want Yorion and the card off of Omen of the Sea. So we have Kiorabest the Sea God mana, and I think it's right to just draw it here. And just try to ram it into their board. They've certainly drawn a lot of extra cards, which is annoying, but... Alright, so they've left 2 mana up. It's kind of frustrating. So we're going to lead off this Valky and see if they want to get particular. Because at this point I think I'd actually rather kill Lurrus with Heartless Act. Alright, they had the Drown in the Lock, they have Erebos' Intervention, they have Deadweight. I'm going to do this. Cast the Cultivate, get out some mana, play the island. I'm going to move to combat here. That's fine, we'll let them draw the card. Yep. Probably should have tried to kill the Lurrus there, but we knew they had the counterspell, so it's not a problem. And if they want to just keep recasting this Merfolk Wind Robber, that's also fine. Dancing around the Drown in the Lock is going to be tough. I think we just need to present enough value to them that they want to counter something that isn't this Kiorabest the Sea God. Okay, go ahead, draw your cards. Still leaving the 2 mana up, so they have the Drown. I'm going to flash in this Omen of the Sea, see if that's Drown bait. Nope, they're smart, they're not taking the bait. God, get these lands out of here, man. Alright, Alrund's Epiphany, that's good bait. So I'm just going to go ahead and cast this into the counterspell, because then we can Heartless Act the Lurrus. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and attack with both here. Yep, let them draw their card. How many? Drown in the lock. 2 drown in the lock? Okay. Let them draw their card. Hit them with Valky. Because now we have Emergent Ultimatum and Kiora Best the Sea God on tap. Sure, opponent, you got a Ruin Crab. Alright, there's the other Alrund's Epiphany, so that's kind of annoying. Gonna go ahead and just jam the Emergent Ultimatum and see what happens, and hope they don't have yet another counterspell. Alright, they had the Drown in the Lock, so we'll go ahead and kill their Ruin Crab. And try to hit him for 6. So that's 3 Drown in the Lock. They're the mill deck, so they're probably also running Didn't Say Please. So I imagine there's still several counterspells in there, but we're applying pressure. If there's a turn that comes that we don't tap out, alright, they're going to draw more cards, that's fine. If there's a turn that comes that we don't tap out, we can scry with these Omens, which also seems fine. I'm not worried, necessarily. They do have a pile of cards in their hand, and they can kill both of our creatures with relative ease, so still not overly worried because they are at 9 and we have a Kiora Best Sea God. Feels pretty alright. And there's a Disdainful Stroke, so we're just going to move right to combat. If they try to get persnickety with that Erebos' intervention, we can counter it with Disdainful Stroke. And we can follow up with Kiora Best the Sea God if they try to do that. Hello, Cat. You're on video. Off you go, Rigby. The thing is, if they try to Erebos' intervention the Valky, that's fine. And if they try to do the Orion, that's counterable with Disdainful Stroke, that's fine. That feels pretty solid. You've got a Thieves Guild Enforcer opponent. Gonna mill. Yep, mill 2 cards I don't care about. You go to 5. And then Kiora Best the Sea God. So we just sort of out really expensive cards to them because we cast a 7-drop, a 7-drop, and a 7-drop on 3 successive turns. And it turns out that the third 7-drop may probably have been enough. Meanwhile, we were just attacking with this nice little 4/5. So, okay, we've floated 10 mana. Okay. You got it, opponent. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Ah, that same stroke would have been nice. Oof. We'll leave this Clearwater Pathway in hand. We'll try to send a signal. We've also got the ability to scry 4. We'll scry 2 twice at our end step. End of the story. Opponent has drawn a ton of cards this game. We've just done big things. Notably, we still have 3 Emergent Ultimatum in the deck. I don't think they've milled any, and we just cast the 1. Yeah, so that is also pretty cool. Go ahead and scry 2 here. I'm going to leave the Maze Mind Tome on top. Well, no, actually I'm not. We need something that'll give us more action than a Maze Mind Tome. We're going to bottom the Beliged Recovery, too. I'd rather try to get that with an Emergent Ultimatum. Oh, come on, deck. We're going to just gain control of a land. Because we can. Sure, opponent. I'm not casting it anyway. Okay, Soaring Thought Thief. It's fine. We'll end the turn. Still digging. Opponent also digging real deep. Opponent down to 21 cards in library to our 36. Granted, we started with a lot more than they did, so it's really more impressive what they've done, but... You got a Wind Robber, opponent. In retrospect, I probably should have kept that Beliged Recovery and Beliged Recovered Cure Best the Sea God, because 2 8/8s with Hexproof is really a solid way around all of this. So that was probably a mistake. I'd like to see Seagate Restoration at this point. I'd see Shark Typhoon. I could make a big shark. Don't need to see any more lands. That's just unnecessary. Would hate to flood out at this point and just lose a game where we really out-tempoed our opponent until we didn't. Because the problem is a lot of the cards left in our deck are removal spells. And yes, eventually we might get there on that, but we need action. You got a Ruin Crab, opponent. I'm going to mill a land and an Extinction Event and Jawari Disruption. That's all fine. None of those are actionable. Ah, Faya Wishes and Ugin. Farts. Alright, deck. What do you got for me? I'm actionable. I mean... Yes, this gets rid of our token too, but it gets their stuff off the board. We're still cold to Ugin, though. And counterspell anyway. I think that's probably it. We're going to go ahead and attack. Yep, understandable. Come on, binding the old gods one time. I think that was their 4th Drown in the Loch? Yeah, it was their 4th Drown in the Loch, okay. Alright, so what are we grabbing with Granted? Soul Shatter. Sure, it's gone. Curious as to why not playing the Ugin there. I mean, unless they're just stunting on us at this point, because they attacked with the Rune Crab. Woof, come on, deck. Need a little bit of help here. Alright, we'll give a shuffle. Really love a Binding the Old Gods, because they're just going to pop that Faya Wishes back in their hand and go tag something else from their sideboard. Yep, there's the Ugin. Tick up, ding the face. Granted, Duress. So now they get to cast the Duress. Well, actually they don't because they're tapped out. Okay. None of that was Binding the Old Gods, so that's nice. 2 Binding the Old Gods and 26. Oh, they're tapped out and we have an Emergent Ultimatum. Cool. Go ahead and actually play one of these lands. Really just 5 mana? That's annoying. Do we want the Seagate Restoration? No, we want the Binding... We can't get Binding the Old Gods here. So yeah, we'll take the Seagate Restoration. Because we can get a Binding the Old Gods this way, so... That feels pretty good. Yep, tuck the bulky. We will cast Seagate, followed by Bailigad Recovery. Bailigad Recovery, gonna get back Binding the Old Gods. I realized we had a win there. We couldn't cast it this turn anyway, though. Draw a whole bunch of cards. Cast a Binding the Old Gods. Sayonara Ugin. Pass the turn. So we've got 19 cards left in our library at this point. Opponent's going to duress us out and immediately tag the Emergent Ultimatum. So that's kind of frustrating considering that the only other actionable spell we drew was Jawari Disruption. We don't have a super ton of actionable spells left, but we do have a Shark Typhoon. Never mind. Never mind. We now have 1 Emergent Ultimatum left, and that's not going to matter. Because, yep. We're dead. Get our last forest out. And die with a whole mess of cards in our hand. GG opponent. Really thought we were going to be able to out-tempo him there, but we didn't. Alright. Well, they're certainly not short or uninteresting games, so let's try another one. See if we face something that isn't rogues this time. I doubt it, because it's all I seem to face on the ladder, but... Yep, Lurrus, so it's rogues again. We can get black mana on turn 1, we can get to Eliminate and Heartless Act, so... Let's try. Oh, Rogran Triome, it's not rogues. Also, I love the extended art Triomes. They look so good. Yep, we're cycling now, boys. So we're going to go ahead and kill that right off the bat. Gonna go ahead and get some black mana. Gonna go ahead and put in that. And we are just gonna do that. Don't want them doing that. Even though we do have a Shadow's Verdict, I don't want to get to that point. Just gonna do this. You got an opponent, you'll have a 1/1. Haven't seen a cycling deck in a minute, so this is great. This is all kinds of exciting. Play the Starkboar Pathway. Bind the Old Gods, kill this Drannith Stinger. You got an opponent, I'll take 1. You got an opponent. Can't say they didn't have a good draw. Gonna go ahead and get the Catchery Triome into play now because we can. Going to grab this as green mana. And going to play Maze Mind Tome. Pass the turn. Leaving up for the eventual Disdainful Stroke feels nice. Yeah, we'll take the hit for 3 here. And one more. And one more. More, probably. As much as I don't want to, if we don't get an Emergent Ultimatum soon, I think that we need to Shadow's Verdict just to get the Straneth Stinger out of here. As much as I'd like to wait. Ah, I see. They're getting that particular. Okay. Going to go ahead and scry with the Maze Mind Tome. Zagoth Triumph is not good enough. Scry with Omen of the Sea, hoping for untapped mana source and Emergent Ultimatum on top. Heartless Act and Emergent Ultimatum will do. We'll draw both of those. Yep, our creatures that we don't have gain Death Touch. So we're going to just go ahead, wrong mode, we're going to go ahead, Heartless Act this Straneth Stinger. Probably got one more Cycler in hand, that's fine. Then we're just going to go ahead and pass and leave up Disdainful Stroke mana, because we are in danger of getting, especially they have 4 mana now, of getting flared. Because we're, as far as they know, dead to flare, so we gotta leave up this Disdainful Stroke. Pass the turn. Yep, take our 1. Draw a card. Okay, play that. Can't tap out now because they've got the mana up. Go ahead and kill that. So we just got to sit here. We, at this point, cannot tap below 2 mana. Yep, there was the flare that we were suspecting that they had. So we will Disdainful Stroke that, and hope they don't have another one in there. Looks like they're digging to it at this point. If they got it, they got it. If not, we've got Emergent Ultimatum. If they've got it at this point, they've got it. They had it. That's frustrating. That wouldn't have helped. And there we go. Alright, so we went 1 up and 2 down. That's not the greatest showing, but I think we got to display what the deck does pretty well. I'll bring it back up again. I think we got to display what the deck does pretty well. I think from playing it that this deck is probably a little better in the best of 3 ladder than it is on the best of 1 ladder. I also think that we definitely hit a bad bounce of getting rogues, and then cycling in a row, and the cycling opponent having it. So that's a little frustrating, but there are ways around that in best of 3, and I also haven't seen cycling deck in months, so that came as a surprise. But I still dig this deck. I still really enjoy getting to cast Emergent Ultimatum and just sort of laughing my way to the bank. Taking extra turns with Alrund's Epiphany is fantastic. I really enjoy this deck. I think it is the kind of deck you can definitely ladder with. I mean, it got me almost into Diamond last month with not even playing all that much since I've had a kid. So I would definitely recommend it. And, you know, I hope that it's the kind of thing that maybe some of you can get into. If you start playing it, let me know in the comments. If you think I'm an absolute dingus, let me know down in the comments. All that stuff down below us, the liking, the subscribing, the following. Anything you can there on YouTube, any engagement really helps. So, yeah, if you like what you're seeing here, it is www.superliminalfilms.com. We can also be found on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. Bye, everybody.